Jacqlyn Charles. I hope you're having a lovely day. And you better be watching the Women Are Worthy Network YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share the page. Well, today's guest, we have Miss Brenda Cobb. Barbara was diagnosed with cervical cancer and breast cancer. Her doctors told her that she had to have chemo and radiation treatment. Barbara said, we ain't doing that. Oh, that's in my inside voice. That's not how she said it. Barbara decided she was going to take control of her health by dedicating herself to a plant life living. So she decided to go raw. Y'all, I'm a vegan. I can't do the raw, but she decided to do the raw. And guess what? She's still here. So tune in to our show and make sure you share this. We talk about health and wellness. I think this is a great segment. And I'm not just plugging it because it's good, but y'all, it's good. Okay, it's G-O-O-D. Good, and it's all about love. Anyway, tune in to the Women Are Worthy Network YouTube channel. Bye. I have my favorite health and wellness person, Miss Brenda Cobb. Now, I know you guys know who she is, and for those of you, I was originally going to say for those living under a rock, but that's kind of disrespectful. So what I am going to say is, for those who don't know who she is, and I'm sure it's a small amount of people, this is the woman, this is the creator of the Living Food Institute, okay? It's the Living Food Institute. So without further ado, because you guys know I like to be a little extra when I'm doing the show, but right now we have to get right into it. Hello, Miss Brenda Cobb.
Hey, Jackie.
How you doing?
I'm incredible. How are you?
Look at this lady. Look at her. You know, that's why I love sharing our platform, because not of lately, we always get these beautiful women and handsome men on our show. And you're just gorgeous. Like, what do you do? I'm sorry, I gotta ask these questions. Sharing is caring. How do you look like this?
Well, you know, I eat right.
Okay.
I have a really positive attitude because the way you think is more important than anything.
Okay.
I exercise.
Okay.
I drink a lot of water.
Okay.
So, you know, it's all about taking really good care of yourself. And as you get older and older, it's important to take even better care of yourself so that you can stay young and vibrant.
So what I'm hearing is I'm following all of the steps that she mentioned. So if I look like this now, which is not really much, I can't wait till when I start getting older and looking older, because baby, you are gorgeous.
Thank
I'm like
you.
drooling.
Thank you very much. I
Oh my
appreciate
God.
that.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry, I'm fanning out right now. You know, like when you see your celebrities, some of you guys like the Michael Jacksons, some of you like the Cardi B's, some of you like the Lola Falanas. You guys may not know who that is. I, myself, Jackie Charles, love me some Brenda Cobb. So, with that said, Miss Cobb, can you please talk about, do you mind if I call you Brenda?
Please.
Okay, sorry. Let me calm down and be professional right now. So, can you please share your story? The reason I wanted you on the show, because as you guys know, health and wellness is very important to me. And I want to do more of these shows because I want to show people that, you know, it's not just exercising, it's what you eat. So I want you to share your journey on how did you get into the field that you're in now, your purpose, because you're walking in your purpose. How did you get into that?
It really started in 1999. I was diagnosed with both breast and cervical cancer. The doctor told me that I had to do surgery and mastectomy and hysterectomy and chemo and radiation. But I refused because my mom and my aunts on both my mom and my dad's side have been diagnosed with breast, cervical, uterine, or ovarian cancer. They were all told to do surgery and chemo and radiation, and they did. And it was the treatments that did them in, not the cancer. So I said to myself then, boy, if I ever got diagnosed with cancer, I know that I am not going to go down that route. And then I was diagnosed in February of '99. You can imagine my doctor was not happy with me because I would not do what he wanted me to do. He actually told me that if I didn't do what he said, that I would be dead in 6 months. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, if I'm not dead in 6 months, I'll come back to see you. we'll see how I'm doing, okay? So obviously I wasn't dead in 6 months. I went back to see him. They did all the tests, and they could not find any cancer in my body. And that had healed my rheumatoid arthritis I had been diagnosed with when I was only 27. It also cleared up my skin. I had eczema and psoriasis. I had some rashes, acne. My skin became the best that it ever had been. And, you know, it helped my weight. I had excess weight that just melted away. Helped me sleep better at night. It helped balance hormones. Got rid of all my allergies. I never had another migraine headache again. It transformed me literally from the inside out. So that journey for me to help myself really then became the mission. I felt that God was speaking to me and saying that my reason for being on the planet now is to share the information. So I founded the Living Foods Institute that same year in '99. And you know something, Jackie? Now people have come to us from every country and all over the U.S., every city, every state, for all different types of health issues. And it's been so fascinating, exciting, it's been fun, and to help people with their health. Because, you know, we can all create really good optimum health if we learn what to do and we do the right things.
You're making me emotional right now because I went through something. I had fibroids. You know, African American women are prone to fibroids, right? I had fibroids, and my doctor told me that I needed to get a hysterectomy. There's no cancer that's rampant in my family. And I didn't understand why, because I have fibroids now. They were huge. Why do I need to have a hysterectomy? So my doctor said, well, that's what you need to do. And he couldn't explain to me why, because he said, if I have the hysterectomy, there's no guarantees that the fibroids won't come back. Depends on what they were going to take out. And I just didn't think I don't think it was something needed. I considered that elective surgery. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's what I considered that when he told me. So I decided to go down the path of exercising, but really eating properly, eating the right foods. And I promise you, Brenda, when I went back to the doctor, they did not believe that I didn't have a hysterectomy. Because they did the ultrasound, they did not believe it. My doctor wanted me, because at first I wasn't going to be subjected to the x-rays again. I didn't want to do it. They did not believe that I didn't have the hysterectomy. So for me, I'm like, okay, let's go do what you want us to do. So of course I got subjected to all the rays and all that. And they still, they were going on and on and on, because he said if he didn't perform the surgery, someone else did. And he just was not convinced that I did not have a hysterectomy. So for me, is there comments? So for me, that's what I chose. And listening to your story, I was tearing up because I'm so glad that you took charge of your health. You decided this is what I'm going to do against all odds, because we have all these people telling us things in our ears who are medically trained. And you decided nope, I'm not going to do that. That took balls.
Well, people have asked me about that, Jackie. It really was easy for me, and here's why. Because I had seen my favorite women in my life suffer. I had seen one of my aunts where they took one breast, they gave her chemo and radiation. The cancer then came in the other breast, so they took that breast, they gave her more chemo and more radiation. Then it went into her lungs, so they removed part of a lobe of a lung and they gave her more chemo and more radiation. Then it got into her bones, into her brain. She died a horrific death. And when you watch that and then make that decision, I'll never go down that route. When it really happened and I was diagnosed, I really never had any fear about it. I knew ahead of time what I was going to do. And so I think the worst part of it was the comments from the doctor. Doctors can be, they can try to intimidate you, or bully you, or threaten you, or, say the things that they do. And many times I have found that people out of fear will just go along with whatever the doctor is telling them to do. But you know, Jackie, I know you know this well.
Right.
Faith and fear cannot abide together. So I had total faith. When I went to my car that day after the doctor had said, well, you'll be dead in 6 months. I went to the car, and before I ever cranked up the car, I prayed. Show me what to do. Tell me what to do. And I heard that little voice say, go to the health food store. So I went to a health food store that I knew where it was, but I wasn't really into health foods and so forth at that time. And walked in, and I asked if they knew of any books of anybody that had ever healed cancer naturally. And they pointed out a book to me called How I Conquered Cancer Naturally by Edie Mae Hunsinger. And when I touched that book, I had chills all over my body. So I knew that was God speaking to me saying, this is what you have got to do.
Can we break? I think we have a comment. Can someone read the comment?
Okay, so Kalada has been commenting a lot, but she said, thanks for sharing your story, Brenda. I went through hell and back and decided after surgery came back. Can you
read it, please, so we can, because we have to answer these questions.
I had a very good friend who had breast cancer. She went through hell and back and decided after surgery when it came back to go to a herbalist. It cost her a pretty penny, but good eating cured her breast and way of living. Thanks for sharing your story. Bless you.
See, who was
Very
that
welcome.
Kalada.
Hi, Kalada. Kalada Moore?
Yes.
Thank you, Kalada, for tuning in. And see, this is so important for women because I know, you're definitely the pro on this show, so you're the expert for us. So what I want people to understand, it's you've been through it, and you said, well, it was not hard, but sometimes I'm telling you guys, you have all these diseases, the doctors are looking up the symptoms and they're telling you this is the disease and this is your life expectancy, and if you don't do this, take this pill for high blood pressure, take this pill, and if you don't, you're gonna have a heart attack. It's so hard sometimes. It's so hard, especially if you don't have people in your corner who believes in that. That's why you have to be around like-minded people. So if you're into homeopathy, it's good to have people who believes what you're saying, because half of my friends think I'm nuts, but my ex-friends, they think I'm nuts, but I don't care because I'm Jamaican and we were raised by herbs. We were raised by a lot of things, drinking and, the herbs, the coconut water, that now it's the fad thing to do, where for us it wasn't a fad thing to do. So I want you to just inspire the women out there to let them know that you're not crazy, and it's okay to get second opinions if it's from a neuropathy doctor, naturopathy doctor, or someone like you, because I'm sorry, you don't have the MD, but I'm sure you're curing more people than the pharmaceutical. Yes, I said it. The pharmaceutical companies. And I want to put a disclaimer on the show now, and I put it on social media, that I am not here to say or tell you to come off of your prescription medications or this will work for you. We're talking about what works for us. This would be a good thing to use, but because I want to make sure I put that disclaimer, because I know how people can be. Okay, I'm going to get off my blood pressure medication. This is what I'm going to do. That's what I have to do for Women Are Worthy. You can say otherwise, but I just want to make sure I put that disclaimer out there before I get a lot of doctors who are going to be watching or put all this stuff on our page. So since Kalada mentioned her story, what other journey have you gone through health-wise that made you realize this is the path I need to go through? This is the path I need to, this is my purpose.
Well, this was the big thing, when you get diagnosed with cancer. I really want to address something else that you mentioned as well. When I was diagnosed, my doctor wanted me to do something different than I knew what I was going to do.
Okay.
Friends and family said, you've got to do what your doctor said. And I said, well, why do I have to do what the doctor said? And most of them said, because the doctor knows best. I said, but how about, and when I started saying, talking about the stories of my aunts and their relatives as well, right? And I said, no, I really don't have to do what the doctor says. Now, I want to say this. I have a lot of respect for doctors. I've trained a lot of doctors. Many doctors have come to my program. They have sent their family members, their staff, and so forth. And a lot of times doctors have told me that they are almost between a rock and a hard place, in that they are more controlled by the FDA, the AMA, the federal government. They have to say certain things to their patients, or they could lose their license. They could even go to jail. They could be fined a lot of money if they don't do that. And that when, with the doctors that I have worked with, and I like to work with doctors because I think that there is a way that we can mutually work together. But you used a word that I want to address because I never use that word, and that is the word cure. Because what we do at Living Foods Institute is we teach people what to do to help their bodies do what God created the body to do, which is to heal itself. So when people call me and they say, I have this disease or that disease, and I've heard great things about your center, and if I come, will you guarantee me that this is going to work? And I always say to them, I don't make guarantees, because it really isn't about me guaranteeing you something. It is about, are you going to do the program? Because it's not just learning about it. You've got to do it. If you know good things to do and you're not doing those things, then you're not going to get the results.
Right.
And there's really, nutrition is of course key. But Jackie, there's really 5 main key components as to why people develop illnesses and diseases. And the number one thing is not what a person eats, but how they think. So we really have got to help people in getting their thinking right. You can sabotage yourself with your own negative thinking. Number 2 is healing the emotional self, because there's an emotional component to every disease. And disease starts first in the thinking and the emotional self. Third is stress, because we can stress our own selves out. So I like to remind people that it's not really what happens to us that makes any difference. It's our reaction to it. So how are you reacting that is creating stress in your life? And then number 4 is toxins in the body. You've got to clean out your body and you've got to detox. And then last, number 5, is your nutrition.
Right.
But if you just only are going to change what you eat, and you may start there, and that may be a good place to start, but if you're not detoxing and cleansing, it's just like putting good food but on a bad situation. So it's really a synergy of all of those things working together.
And that's what we need to address, because so often, like Carlotta, do we have any more comments? Because it's frustrating for me, because you can, like you said, your body can heal itself because that's how God created our body, but because we're putting all this processed foods into our bodies, it's just creating havoc. And so for me, what I tell people when I'm talking to them, we have to reset that button, reset the thinking, and just be open to things. Not, because some people, they're set in their ways, and just try it. It's not eating healthier, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to kill you.
And it may just save your life.
Exactly. So can you tell us a little bit about your program? Can you tell us when's your next workshop? Brenda has a workshop going on, guys, so let's talk about the workshop and the hours, how people can reach you, contact you, and things like that, because we have more things that we need to
We
address.
do programs, full programs, every single month, Jackie. So, we have programs that people will come for 30 days or 15 days or 10 days or 5 days. In those programs, we're teaching hands-on recipe preparation in the kitchen. So everybody is in the kitchen, and we have a nice big industrial kitchen, and they're learning and getting to prepare the various healthy foods themselves. We also have a test that we do called the Health Scope Scan. That way we can find out exactly what's going on with each individual. If they have allergies to foods or sensitivities, it'll show up. If they have heavy metals, if they have fungus or mold or yeast, bacteria, viruses. And then we're able to customize a protocol for each individual, because it's not a one-size-fits-all,
right,
or a cookie-cutter approach.
Right.
So when people come to those programs, they're not only learning about the nutrition in the food, they're learning how to use herbs, essential oils, superfoods, and of course in healing their emotional self and changing their way of thinking. Because you're really right when you say we've got to kind of reprogram our thinking. I was born and raised in the South, and as I always say, we ate every animal known to man, and we ate it fried. Not fried, but fried. That's how you do it in the South, right? So I had to retrain myself into what are the best foods that can actually help. For me, it was healing breast and cervical cancer. And we do workshops also, half-day workshops at the center. We do 4 times a year. I do have one coming up on August the 26th, and it's going to be all about summertime recipes, safely cleansing and detoxing yourself during the summer, creating your best, most optimum health, even tips about how to stay cool and how to naturally never get a mosquito bite.
How to naturally
never get a mosquito bite. You know, because there's so many diseases now that mosquitoes are carrying.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so on August the 26th, for people that want to come to that, and if they miss that one, then every several months we do that special workshop. But every single month we're doing those hands-on classes at Living Foods Institute. And if people want to find out more about it, they can go to our website, which is livingfoodsinstitute.com. They can call, and they can email me, Brenda@livingfoodsinstitute.com. And I'm right there to help answer questions and just, you know, give every bit of support that I possibly can to each person who needs that.
Well, what I want to say right now is, because we're talking about a serious topic, so what I want to say is it's so important to have Brenda here for me, because this is something I really wanted to talk about, and I was searching high and low for someone who is in this field that you're doing, and I find you, if there's top 10 people, you're number 1, okay? So I just want people to understand this. I'm telling you guys, you have to go to the program. You have to join her workshop. You have to get in touch with her. It's imperative. And think about this. I know most people are thinking about, now how much does it cost? Have you checked your deductible lately? Have you checked your deductible? I'm so riled up when it comes to this, because people are constantly saying, oh, eating healthy is so expensive. And I know I sound condescending, but I'm frustrated, Brenda. I am mad right now.
I really want to address that, Jackie. You know what makes your food bill expensive?
Say it.
Packaged foods, canned foods, processed foods. If people would shop the outer perimeter of the grocery store, they could buy organic, fresh vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, grains, and keep all that frozen food, that canned food, that boxed food out of your cart. Not only would you save money in the grocery store, but now you're eating the best, highest quality food that you can get. And then the other thing is, if people ever say to me, well, I want to come and take your program, but the money, we have scholarships we help people with, so that people can never use the excuse of money. Okay? That's
Wait. Repeat that again, because I don't think they heard that. Repeat that again,
So
please.
we've got scholarship help for anybody who wants to come and take our program, that we can help you to be able to financially pay for your program and to give you scholarship funds. So if you use money as an excuse, that is you making an excuse for why you don't want to create your optimum health. Because we're not going to accept that as an excuse. We're going to get you in that program, and we're not going to let money stand in the way.
Okay.
So now we'll say, what do they say, Jackie? Put your money where your mouth is. Now it's like, do you really, really want to create your best health? If you do, then we've got a way to help you.
I'll keep it real. You know those nails and the tips y'all getting done? The pedicures, the weaves, the microblading, the lashes, the massages. Let's budget for this. Okay? Okay, I had to go there.
Well, you're so right. Because we have to make a decision about how we invest our money. There is no, in my opinion, there's no better place to invest your money than in your own good health. And I've always said, I wish that insurance companies would pay for everybody to go and take a course like what we teach. But since they don't, make it happen for yourself. It'll be the best investment you ever made, because you'll carry this information for the rest of your life. Not only to help yourself, you can help your family, you can help your friends. When people see you doing better and you're creating good health, they get curious. They want to know, what are you doing? I want to do it too.
Well, with that said, Miss Brenda wrote a book, and I think she's going to sign mine. I don't have an autograph. I don't have her autographed copy yet, but I'm sure by the end of the show she'll give us one. And the book is called The Living Foods Lifestyle by Miss Brenda Cobb. Okay? It's an inspiring guide filled with remarkable stories and delicious raw and living food recipes. Why am I acting like I'm, doing your book? I am selling the book. And it's really good, guys. What made you decide to want to do this? This book covers health, beauty, energy. Lord knows I don't need energy. Joy, abundance, and peace. So what made you decide to do this book and give this title? Create this title?
The title, Living Foods, is because I wanted to bring an emphasis to living foods.
Right.
So if I talk about raw foods, most people can guess what that is. A raw vegetable, a raw fruit, a nut, a seed that has not been cooked. A living food is something that has been sprouted. It's growing whenever you are consuming it. And living foods have 100 up to 100,000 times more nutrition and enzymatic activity than even very healthy raw foods. So that's why I named it Living Foods Lifestyle. The reason I wrote the book is because it was that book that the woman I mentioned earlier, Edie Mae, wrote, that I felt really saved my life. I had never written a book before. I've written 11 books now, but this is my first. And the reason that I wanted to write it is because I thought, if this other person's book helped and inspired me, maybe my story would help and inspire someone else. And it was very healing, a part of my healing journey, even in writing it. I told a lot of secrets in that book that I never had told anybody before, or that I really didn't think I would ever share. So I really did a lot of sharing, and then gave practical advice so that people could get started on their own at home. So my motivation was really just to get the information out there in the book form so that people could try it and see for themselves what great things it could do. You mentioned something else earlier too. I wrote a book called Healing Fibroids, Endometriosis, Tumors, and Cysts. And women of color, as you mentioned, have more fibroids than, say, a Caucasian woman has. And I loved what you said too, is that all the doctors say, let's cut them out, let's do the hysterectomy. But they just grow back. Because if you don't get to the real central cause of why you developed them in the first place, and then change those things so you don't keep redeveloping them, then they will grow back. Otherwise, we dissolve them from the inside out and they never come back.
And let me tell you what happened, okay? Been vegan. I decided Jackie wants to eat chicken at her late stage, want to eat chicken. So I started eating chicken. We know we have the growth hormones and all of that. But I'm like, okay, let's do this fried chicken. I'm in the South. Let me try it. It was good. Not gonna lie, it was good. I didn't do it because of the whole PETA thing. It was good. Why I stopped. I didn't stop because of the whole PETA and saving the animals. I didn't do that. And I'm not ashamed to say that's why I didn't stop. So I went to, and I know better, because my family, we're all healthy. So what I did was I went to an acupuncturist. And I used to do that in New York. I used to go to Chinatown and go to an acupuncturist. So I go to this acupuncturist, and she's looking at my eyes and looks at my tongue, and she's like, are you eating chicken? And then she says, do you know they put the GMO, when they're doing the antibiotics, she says they put it in the wing and the thigh. And that's what, if you're going to eat fried chicken or whatever. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So then my stomach was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was bleeding so bad, Brenda. It was horrible. I was passing out. Many times I almost needed to get Many times I needed to get blood transfusion. Like, you have to be at a certain level before they tell you, okay, you need to get blood. I was below that level. And it was scaring me. I passed out at my church. We had to get an ambulance. And I'm like, what's going on? I was so weak, I couldn't walk to the mailbox. And it was just disgusting what was coming out of me. So I said, okay, whatever. So I found this wonderful chiropractor on Buford Highway, and also there's one in Kennesaw. And I would get rounds of needles in my tummy. I'm like, it was more than 50 needles. And she would put it under my feet. And then, of course, I changed my eating, and voila. I started feeling better. And, of course, she gave me her crushed herbs. And the herbs were nasty. It's like you would go outside by the street and pick up the herbs and smell. It was nasty. Some of them actually smelled like poop. But it worked. But then, more importantly, she was telling me to get back. So I would drink my celery juice and certain things that I would do and eat raw things. And I started to get better in my energy. I didn't need supplements. And my eyes started getting clearer. And but at that time I was also getting blood pressure issues. And I'm like, we don't have that in my family. What's going on? So stress played a big part in that. So I realized I had to take part in my health. But before I did that, I went to the hospital. I got sick and I went to the hospital. I would buy ambulance, and it was not very good and all that kind of stuff because it didn't look well. And it got to the point I actually signed myself AMA, against medical advice, signed out of the hospital, and I took my health in my own hands. Everybody thought I was crazy because I was at death's door, because that's what they basically told my husband. They did not think I was going to make it, where he needed to call family members. It was horrible. And you're hearing these stories, you're hearing the doctor tell your husband this, and it's frightening. Sure. But I said, you know what? I know what I know, what I know, what I know. And of course I listened to the man upstairs, but I said, no, this is what we're going to do. We're going to juice. We're going to do this. We're going to eat fresh vegetables. And I started to feel so much better, and I didn't have that, cloudy thoughts. And then I started meditating, and I don't want to make this about me, but I'm just saying that was just my personal journey. There were other things involved, but my personal journey. But to hear a doctor tell your significant other when you're in the hospital that, you're unconscious, or they think you're unconscious, and you're hearing these things, and you're like, holy crap, I may not be here. Oh, heck no. So I can definitely say that it's what you're eating. I have a lot of friends now. Their kids have autism. Can we speak to what you know about autism and processed foods?
I've worked with a lot of families with autistic children. Processed food, red dyes and other dyes, chemicals, additives, preservatives, and colors in food are causing a lot of issues. Not just autism, but attention deficit disorder, not being able to really concentrate and focus in school, not being able to really learn well. And we found that whenever parents change the diets of their children that have autism or ADHD, or they're not doing well in school, or they have temper tantrums and all this, when they change and give them the proper diet, you see all of that begin to change, reverse, improve. And it's really interesting when a parent says to me, well, my child doesn't like that food, or they won't eat that food. And then I have to explain to them, you're the parent. And you do want to encourage your child to eat better. The reason that children don't eat better is quite possibly because they're given other foods that are not good. It's cheap and it's easy to get fast food. It's easy to go through drive-thrus. The food tastes good. It's got a lot of sugar. It's got fats in it that are not the good kind of fats. And those things are very addictive. Salt. We talk about addictions today. Really and truly, I think that the addiction to food is a stronger addiction than the addiction for cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, all put together. Food is legal. We can eat anything that we want to. We don't have to shy away from it or hide if we want to eat donuts or cheeseburgers or French fries or drink soda pop. It's all out there for us. So it really is going to come down to a person deciding that they are worth it, that their good health is really worth it, and working on that addiction. I had those food addictions myself, really, really strong addictions to foods. Do you know, whenever I got on this lifestyle and I was changing everything that I was eating, I would dream about foods, Jackie. I would dream about going to the buffet, and there would be all kinds of food on there. And I would, in my dreams even, somebody might turn around and say, "Oh, taste this," and in my dream I would take a bite, maybe of a burger. And even in the dream I would say to myself, "Oh, I'm not supposed to have that." Now that's how strong addictions to food are, that you are even dreaming about it whenever you're giving up those foods. But let's look at it not as giving up something, but of really getting something. Because you mentioned it earlier, whenever you started eating really better, juicing and doing some of those things, you felt so much better. So as you do a little bit and you feel much, much better, then you're encouraged to do more. And then all of a sudden your whole life has changed. You're like, wow, I have a lot of energy, I'm looking better. People start noticing and they'll make a comment to you. What are you doing? You're looking so good. And you're thinking, well, very good. Yeah, it's worth it. It's really, really worth it.
What do you say about, can we talk about sodas? Because so many of the young drink sodas, and sometimes you can't get their attention. Sometimes they're like all over the place, or they can't focus. What would you, can you address what you know, the correlation between sodas and what it does to people? Because I really want to address, because no disrespect, we're in the place where Coca-Cola is, okay? So it's not just Coke, it's Sprite, it's whatever. Can we talk about that?
There are two different types of sodas. There's your sodas that are full of sugar. So that will be your regular soda. So first of all, let's talk about sugar. So sugar is a poison to the body, literally a poison. And there's so much sugar in these drinks. What
But you
does it
said
do?
something, I don't mean to interrupt. I want my interns to listen to this, to hear that she said sugar is a poison to the body. Now, sometimes they're young and they're invincible, so I want them to hear what you're saying, that sugar is poison to the body.
Oh, well, it not only is it poison to the body, but sugar, as an example, feeds cancer cells. Sugar can cause pain and discomfort in the body. Sugar can keep you from getting adequate sleep. When you do not sleep well, then you don't function well in life. So your sleep is very important. Sugar can not only clog the cells, but it builds up in the body. So it alters your blood sugar levels. That can lead to things like diabetes. It affects your heart. It does catch up with you sooner or later. So you may think, I remember thinking that when I was a teenager, a young girl, you're thinking like, oh, I'll never be sick, nothing will ever happen to me. And then it catches up to you. When you're eating all of that sugar too, that sugar just turns to fat. So now you've got the obesity thing tied into it. But there's also another type of soda, and that is the soda that is the diet soda. Quite honestly, even more dangerous.
We were just
than
talking
sugar.
about that earlier, so some of them are smirking because we was just talking about diet soda earlier.
If that's even as dangerous as sugar is, the diet sodas are even more dangerous because they have chemicals that are in them to make them taste sweet, which is what so many people are addicted to, that sweet taste. I had a woman that when I first opened in 1999, she came to my program. And she had various health issues, but one of the things was that she had lost her sight. And she was a young woman in her mid-30s. So her husband came with her and they filled out all the paperwork. And when I began reading what it was that she was eating, and that she was drinking 5 to 6 diet sodas a day, I said to her husband then, throw the diet soda away. She should never, ever put that in her body again. And I'll bet that once we get her detox, her vision's going to come back. And it did. because some of those chemicals that are in those diet sodas can actually even cause something as serious as blindness. So water is what we need. Alkaline water. We need to be drinking at least half of our body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 100, you need to be at least drinking 50 ounces of water a day. So people say, well, I'm drinking my fruit juice. Well, fruit juice, again, high in sugar. Remember also that you have more lymphatic fluid in your body than you have blood. And your body has to have water to make blood and lymphatic fluid. It's very key. You don't make it by drinking tea or coffee or fruit juice or even smoothies. You've got to have your water along with those other healthy things that you're eating. So what happened to that? Let's get back to really drinking water, and alkaline water, to help bring alkalinity back to the body. Because if we have an acid body, we've got a sick body. If we've got an alkaline body, we've got a healthy body.
One of the things I want to address tonight that's important to me, that I'm getting a lot of emails about, which is, I think, the number one cursor out there: inflammation.
Inflammation is the enemy. Inflammation is the underlying cause for all kinds of health issues, including discomfort and pain in the body. And until we get rid of inflammation, the body really cannot heal. That's one of the reasons we always encourage people to come to the center and get this Health Scope scan test. Because, Jackie, actually there are people that are trying to do better, and they're eating what would be considered healthy foods, but they don't realize they're allergic to what they're eating. We think of kale, as being healthy. For some people, kale is an inflammation, cause of inflammation. Or avocado is healthy, but for certain people, avocado can cause inflammation. So it's really important that people understand it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not just because you're eating healthy foods. Let's find out which ones are best for you. But inflammation is a real killer. Inflammation is an enemy. We need to get inflammation out of the body. And there's a lot of different ways that we need to approach that. Not just detoxing and cleansing, but putting the right foods in there too. Very important.
I know for me, I took a test in Atlanta on Beaufort Highway, and I found out, because I never understood why I couldn't digest tomatoes. What's going on? Why can't I eat tomatoes and eggplants? And then I realized I'm one of those people that nightshade vegetables, nightshade foods I can't have, because if I eat them, I'll get swelling, it's just crazy, and my body, I'll feel weak. Then I start getting phlegm. So, so then I had to realize, I'm like, wow, because I didn't know all these years why I didn't like tomatoes. I didn't know what was going on. So again, I went and visited someplace, and they told me that was the cost. And the minute I removed tomatoes and eggplants and things like that, I started
peppers, potatoes, all of those are nightshades.
Yeah.
And they do offer a lot of problems for most people, Jackie. Some people can get by with it, but actually most people, when they eat those foods, develop inflammation.
And I agree, because one of my treats that I like to give myself maybe once a month or whatever is I would go to a certain store, Chick, and get fresh fries. And their fresh fries, that means that's no salt, and they have to make the French fries right there, because I just wanted to treat myself. I realized I can't do that, because the minute I eat those fries, I can feel the phlegm coming up in my throat. When I wake up in the morning, my ankle is swollen, and I drink a lot of water, yes, but still that's not it. I realize I gotta stay away from it. As much as I do love French fries, I can't have the potatoes. It's not just how it's processed or the oils, it's because it's potatoes. Now when I eat sweet potatoes, I don't have that much of an issue, but the regular potatoes, I have issues. So
you said you love potatoes. So French fries are one of the things I talk about in my book, because I loved French fries. Do you know why we're so addicted to French fries?
Is it
potato chips, mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, anything made with potato, Jackie?
Wait a minute. We're about to get a scoop on the Women Are Worthy show. Okay, why are we addicted to that?
Because they're so highly hybridized. And highly hybridized foods like potatoes, and another highly hybridized food is corn.
Okay.
So we're addicted to those corn chips and all this stuff. And here's what happens. When foods are highly hybridized, they've been altered. And they've been altered by man deciding that we can change those foods in some way. We can make them grow bigger, fatter, taste sweeter. And so hybridization has taken place. Now, when we eat those foods, the liver cannot recognize the food. And so now we're not able to process that food properly. At the same time, we are highly addicted to those hybridized foods. So that's one of the reasons that, not just because they do taste good, but it's really an addiction to that hybridization. Now that goes beyond just GMOs, or genetically modified foods, because now we've really added insult to injury. Not just being hybridized, but so much now has been genetically modified. Those are what I call the Frankenfoods, like Frankenstein. They're not really the real foods that we need to be getting.
Are you guys seeing why we have Brenda Cobb on the show today? I can go on and on and on and on and just listen to you, because you're educating things that I didn't even know. You're educating me. I didn't think I'd know everything, but I like the fact that you're our expert here. I'd like to send a special shout out, and when we do the Sister Talk, I want this person to be on the show when we're doing it. I contacted Brenda's office and I spoke with this lady, and she was freaking, y'all know I love the word freaking, amazing. I fell in love with this lady. I never met her. She has a bubbly personality, and I think my personality is on point. Her personality is like through the roof. I can tell she like guides the office and, you know, whips the office into shape. And her name is Jane. She works with, not for, but with Brenda. And can I tell you that this woman is just the sweetest person I've ever met. I finally met her today, okay? But I feel like a kindred spirit. So I guess we're sisters too, Brenda.
Absolutely.
But this woman, and I'm not going to embarrass her and bring her on the camera. I really want to, but she may tell me no, so I don't want to embarrass myself. But she's really a great addition to what you're doing. Can I tell you?
You're talking about Jane Holmes. Jane is the director of our center. And so she really runs the show. Not only that, but Jane teaches phenomenal emotional healing and well-being classes. And you know, when people email me, write me letters, talk about our program, all the time they'll say things like, I thought I was going to Living Foods Institute and I was going to just learn all about the food, and I was really excited and the food was great and I learned so much. But the most powerful thing that happened was these emotional healing classes that I had with Jane. So she is an amazing person. She is so full of love, patience, kindness, and at the same time, she is going to challenge you to be your absolute best. So she's not going to let you get by with making up excuses and things like that. She's going to really empower you to do it the right way. And you're so right. She's just amazing.
She is what I like about her. I'm really digging you, Jane. She's off the camera. I'm digging you. Because I like what you do, because that's what I do with my interns. I try to challenge them when they may think that I'm being hard on them. But like when we have a guest, how important it is to be quiet behind the scenes. No laughing, no this. Things that you do, you know, you want them to know that they should not be doing, because you want to challenge them to be their very best. Brenda, it's been a phenomenal. I felt like I'm having like a little talk without the camera with my sister. Someone who's just telling me what we need to do, because at the end of the day, I want a great quality of life. I'll be celebrating 29 years with my husband, so I want to have a good quality of life with him. You know, I still want to be like the way I am, a little feisty and stuff, but I want to be healthy. So I want to thank you for being on the show. But before we end the show or close out the show, can you please give us your website again for those who want to sign up for the workshop? It's going to save your life. Sign up. I'm saying it's going to save your life. So I don't know if I have any of my Loving Arms Cancer Outreach Center people on the show, but please sign up. You know, call the center, be involved, see what you can do. So, Jane, can you close us out with giving your information? I'll also give ours, our social media handles.
So, website is livingfoodsinstitute.com. And you also can call me. Can I give them my number?
Honey, this is not my show.
Let's
This is
do
your
it.
show.
All right, so you can call me. Call 404-524-4488. You can email me, Brenda@livingfoodsinstitute.com. Remember to put that S on foods. And we're going to be right here to help you. No excuses. You got to come. And you know what? Really, we have so much fun. Because being healthy is fun. Now, you don't have to be sick to come to our institute. A lot of people come that are in good health, and they come because they want to go to optimum level health and they want to prevent things from happening down the line. So everybody can come.
So when you guys sign up and you go, when you walk in, I want you guys to say, "Hey Jane, how you doing, Jane?" So make sure you shout out Jane. And for those of you, we're going to be closing out our show today. Thank you for tuning into the Women Are Worthy show on our social media platform. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. So let me give you our handles. We're on Snapchat. Our Snapchat handle is at the WAW Network. I'm new to it because they created this. So again, our Snapchat handle is the WAW Network. Our Facebook is the Women Are Worthy show. And our Instagram is the Women Are Worthy show. Now, y'all, we're on YouTube! I said we on YouTube. Okay, so let me give you our handle on YouTube. It's the Women Are Worthy Network on YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm getting it right. I'm doing it because I have my producer behind the camera mouthing the words, but I got this. I got this. So please tune in next week at 7 o'clock. We're going to have another great show next week. Again, our very special guest. There's a comment. Okay, so we can't end the show.
Okay. Janet and a lot of other women like Kalada were all saying thanks for all the information.
Love you, Janet Graham from Loving Arms. She is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal cancer outreach center. When I do get a chance to go there, I go on Tuesdays, and they are in Marietta, Georgia. They give wigs, they give food vouchers, they give, it's a phenomenal place. So if you are diagnosed with cancer and you want a support group, and if you're in the Atlanta area, I don't care if you're in Fayetteville, I don't care what support groups you have out there, you gotta come to Loving Arms. Thank you, Janet, for continually supporting the Women Are Worthy show. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, comment us. I'm getting good at this. I'm getting good at this. Hercules, Hercules. Okay, let me stop. Goodbye, guys. Nice knowing you. Bye. Hi, guys. This is Jacqlyn Charles, the host of the Women Are Worthy show. It's the hottest show in town. Well, it's really the hottest show in social media. So don't forget to follow us on social media. Where you at?
Oh, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And all social medias will be in the description down below.